GSNJ Radio.
All right, guys, we are back from our break, and we have two lovely guests today, just in time for Love Day. We have Giselle and we have Mysheka. So if you guys can just introduce Mysheka, I apologize.
Bacon burn.
My bad, my bad. After I just said it before the break was over, I'm so sorry. And everybody knows, like, my real name, like, I am big on my name. People pronounce it wrong all the time, so I greatly apologize. If you ladies would like
I apologize too.
You ladies would like to, he's like, I apologize for her. If you ladies would like to introduce yourselves.
Sure. Okay. I'm Giselle Ogando. My name is Giselle Ogando.
And I'm Mysheka Nelson, and we are the co-authors of Winning in Your Vows, a new book that we wrote about marriage.
And if you ladies could just let us know about this book.
Yes. Okay. Well, Winning in Your Vows is a book based. It's on marriage. One of the things that we had talked about was just the struggles of the ministry of marriage and the different views now. You know, the world has all these types of definitions and redefinitions of what marriage is. But the Bible is very clear about what marriage is. It's a covenant versus a contract. So we wanted to really stress on the fact that it is a covenant, not a contract. It's a ministry that God gives you. He allows you to have it. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. So one of the things, you know, we were really focused on was the trials that we go through. It's not just, you're not the only one going through the trials. There are other people going through struggles in their marriage, and we wanted it to be just raw and real and transparent, but also very closely aligned with the Word.
Because sometimes when you're married and you're going through a situation, you think you're the only one. Nobody
right.
knows what you're going through. And that's a trick of the enemy, right? He wants to isolate you. He wants you to think that it's just you. You married the wrong person. This wasn't what you're supposed to do. And you see everybody else so happy. But you don't know what they went through to get to that place.
Right.
You don't know the trials, the tribulations that they've overcome to get to this place where you think they're happy. So we just wanted to put it out there, like she said, a real transparent look about marriage and the ins and outs, the good times, the bad times, all of it, and just be real transparent and open in hopes that it'll encourage someone else to fight for their marriage.
Because marriage is definitely an everyday thing. It's just, you got to be present when you are married. It's not, you don't wake up and say, you know what? I don't want to be married today. Or you know what? I'm about to call in
But you know
sick.
what?
I'm about
That's
to take a
funny.
half
Some people
day.
do.
Like,
Yes.
Some people
Some people do. I was about to say
that.
that. Some people wake up and say, I don't feel like being married today.
Yep.
My spouse driving me crazy. I don't
Yep.
want to be in this situation. You know why? Because I've been married for 10 years.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I'm going to keep it
That's
real
right.
with
That's
you.
right. And that
I'm
was
being
the-
fair.
And that's and you're so true. And that's the whole purpose. The reason why we wrote it was because we were tired of the, pray for your husband and pray and just keep praying and just keep praying. I've been married for 12 years.
Okay.
And I was at a point where, I was like, no, I'm done. Like I'm
Right,
done.
right,
Like
right.
I'm good. Right.
Right,
Like
right.
I could do bad all by myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Tyler Perry.
Okay. So,
like, Lord, I done did all the praying I could do. You got to help me out.
How much more? My knees hurt. So
Right. How much praying? That's dope, though. How much
That
more
was good.
praying? Your knees hurt.
So then I had met somebody, and everything I went through, and I had such powerful women who really walked me through it. And I had met somebody else, and God on Facebook, and God was like, you need to reach out to her, because she was done. Like, she posted like, I'm getting ready to divorce. And I reached out to her because I was like, no, I have to reach out to her because I know what was done for me. Because I literally was at the point, I had the papers, I was ready to sign, I had the money, I was ready to pay. And and my mom had a conversation with me that put things into perspective. So I chose to sit down with my husband and be like, okay, are we going to do this, or are we going to just let it go? Like, we have to be on one accord.
Right.
And we made the decision to work it out. Come hell or high water, we're going to work it out. And so from there, God was really like, you need to help her. And everything she said was everything I had gone through with my husband. So for me, it was like, okay, that was confirmation. This book needs to come out, because I'm not the only one. She's not going to be the only one. There's going to be many others after her that need to know it's okay. You can press your way through. It does get better.
Oh, absolutely, it gets better. I mean, I can absolutely agree with that one. It gets better. I mean, I had a rocky time for maybe 2.5 years in my marriage point where my wife doesn't even know. She probably listening now like, ooh.
Like, I
She doesn't even
remember
know like
now.
where my brain was like, I had enough. I'm done. And here's the bad part. It was nothing that she did to me.
Right.
It was nothing that she did to me. It was just, I didn't feel like being married no more. I just didn't feel like it. I was like, I had enough. I don't want to fight this for 50 years.
Yep.
You know that enemy seeping in your head, and
yeah.
you just like, But if I would have did that, I would have lost a good thing.
Yes.
Amen.
And so I had to keep holding on. Like, my wife is my backbone.
Yes.
And there's times where I'm down, and she'll actually be the back that allow me to put my feet on, and she'll stand up.
Yes.
Yep.
And I say, whoa, if it wasn't for that strength that she gave me in them times where I felt like jumping off the Franklin, I would have jumped.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I appreciate her for everything she's ever done for me from the
right.
bottom of my heart. I honor my wife. Like, and so since I honor her, every time she does something, I honor her. And so the last thing, she just got a new job, and the Lord said, honor your wife and go get an event. He came with me. So I go in there and I honor her to get this event. Don't you know I come out of there with everything that I needed from the guy? Like, he owned businesses, he owned this, he owned that. But if it wasn't for the fact that I honored my wife the way that he told me to honor, and at first I was like, man, that's money, I ain't spending that. We have to do this, we in the struggle, we in the trenches. And God said, no, honor her and watch what I do. So sometimes you just got to be obedient as a man and honor your wife no matter what it takes, because she's truly the backbone of you, I'm sorry, I didn't want to take over.
No.
You good?
No.
All right, so I got a question for you. So I know Mysheka, with the small group that you have, you focus on, you come together with the married women. What type of advice do you give them that comes out of the book that you give them on being a married woman?
I tell them that them playing their role is not contingent on what their husband does. So many times we have these expectations of our spouses. If they do this, then we'll do this. If they were this, we'll do that. But nowhere in the Bible does it say to honor your husband if he loves you. It tells you to do it regardless, because everything we do is unto the Lord. So when you're sitting here saying you're not going to do this or you're not going to do that, you're not hurting your husband. You're disobeying God. He told you. He set the rules. He set the responsibility. So you're not hurting him. The other thing I say, I know as women, we go through a lot. But as a man, the burden is on the man to lead, cover, and disciple his wife. So the enemy is always attacking him. And I tell him, don't you be what the enemy uses to attack your husband. Because we always...
That's good. You know what? Because there's a lot of women that kick their husbands
Oh,
in
yeah.
the back.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd be rough.
Yes.
Because I watch it, and I'm like, why do y'all make it so hard on the man?
Yes.
You want to come home to your wife as a covering. You want to
Yes.
have this place where she'll hug you and embrace you
Absolutely.
from what you went through. You don't want to
Yes.
come home and she like, why you ain't do this? Why you ain't do that? Get out the house. You don't want that
Absolutely.
nagging point.
Absolutely.
My house I tell my wife, this has to be my safe haven. You
Right.
got church and state.
Right.
When I'm in the street, this is
Yes.
state.
Yes.
When I come home, this is church.
Yes.
And so she had to understand that. You know what I mean? So
I just said that in my group last month, that our house should be a safe place. When our husbands come home, they already have the worries, the trials, the tribulations of the world, their job, whatever it is that they're doing. When they come home, they should feel like a king. When they come home, they should feel safe. I should not be that nagging woman. The
these
Bible's
ladies.
very clear about a
it is
nagging
very
woman.
clear.
Very clear. Proverbs says that a foolish woman a wise woman builds her home. A foolish woman
tears
puts it
it
down
down.
with her hands.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not going to be that foolish
right.
woman. I'm going to honor, respect, and provide a safe place for my husband when he walks through that door, regardless of what he does and who he is and what he's not. I treat him as if he is the king of that house.
Wow, that was powerful.
That's good.
Right.
That was super powerful. that just kind of just brought everything back. I used to be married. I'm divorced now. A lot of people they feel that I should be bitter because my marriage didn't work out. I'm like, but why? Mine, I did what I had to do. I took my vow, I took my covenant, and I took it seriously. Even after divorce, everybody that knows me knows that I saw my covenant out to the very, very end, where God was like, you know what? You did everything that you promised that man you would do, and now I need you to step back. because it was when I say breaking me down, it was just breaking me down. And it's just, so to hear all of this, it does give me some more hope because, there are times where I'm just like, nope, not doing it again. Just not doing it again. Not going through it. Just not doing it.
Right.
But, just hearing all this, I this is going to sound crazy, but I love being a wife. Love being a wife. I love being that to my king. So I have hope that my king, he coming. So you out there, you hear me?
She trying to call him man. She trying to call him where the king's at. Y'all listening?
Come on through. And I love that I just have to say this because I so appreciate that you shared that with us because we have something in the book for you because you're not the only one. Like you're not the only one sitting here going, well, I had a marriage, I got divorced, I saw it through, or, I don't know if I'll get married again. A lot of times there's a stigma around marriage. And again, divorce is not an option. Like divorce is not an option.
Yeah,
However, we understand, right? We're not ignorant and be like, oh no, everybody's going to stay married forever. No, there are cases where God releases you. There's a difference. Like you just said, God was like, you honored it to the best that you could, and then you had to let it go.
Yeah, no.
Don't let it kill you.
Right. And so I think that sometimes we get in our feelings and we're like, oh no, I can't stand him. I'm going to divorce him. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
You're in your
Amen.
feelings,
Amen.
and your
There's a
feelings are
difference.
temporary.
Your feelings don't matter anyway.
Right.
Not
And
in
it's
marriage.
Not at all.
Not in marriage. Your feelings don't. You're going to get your feelings hurt a lot of times. You're going to bruise your little man ego. Your ego going to be bruised. You better take it over the chin and get up tomorrow and live again.
Right?
Straight up.
So, but you made such a good point of God told me I was done. And in the book, we have something I know you will enjoy because we have a powerful testimony of someone who was divorced. And literally, she was like, God released me. And how it happened is just amazing. It was all God. And so we just wanted to be like, listen, if you want to get divorced, you better make sure it's God releasing you and not you and your feelings all hurt because your emotions, because your husband ain't doing this or your wife ain't doing that. Those are excuses, right? And we're not trying to hear excuses. So it's just for everybody. So.
Can I ask a question? It might sound crazy, but I didn't do all my research. I'm sorry. My brain's big, but like the name in itself, like winning in your vows, what would you actually consider like winning in your vows? What made you come up with this winning in your vows? Like,
because it's a process, right? We are two young ladies who are currently married who have not won yet. It's a process. You're continually winning in your vows.
like
You're
that answer.
continually
I like that too.
fighting. You're continually honoring your covenant. You never really get there until the covenant is done, until death do us part. So it's a continual process.
Right. And we wanted to, because a lot of times we think we get to, we're arriving. We never arrive.
You never arrive.
This walk,
Right.
we never arrive.
When you arrive,
But it's
you going.
consistency, right? It's consistency. And the vows, the reason we made it the vows, even though not everybody traditionally recites the vows at your wedding, but a lot of the issues that you have are tied into your vows. A lot of the, like, if somebody gets sick, in sickness and in health, we like to say that, but if your spouse gets sick, if they're in cancer, if they're, they get cancer, they're lying on their deathbed, are you really going to be there without complaining? Are you going to shower them? Are you going to give them a sponge bath? Are you really going to do those things? I mean, you really got to take that into perspective. For better or worse, when you go through financial troubles in, richer or poorer, like
that richer or poor breaks the camel's back
Yes.
in so many marriages.
Right. Yes.
Like that richer or poor, they like, look, you ain't holding it down.
Yeah.
You broke. You know.
There's a part in the book where I'm like, I
For
wish.
real, I'm sorry, boo boo. You broke. Gotta go, boo boo.
I can't get my
Really?
nails done. No hair for the no money for the bundles.
Yep.
When the pastor says, for richer or poorer, I wish they would say how much poorer. Because really, how much poorer?
Right.
At one point, my
right.
husband and I kid you not, a whole weekend, we had 86 cents in our account. 86 cents in my checking account. So when I tell you he is my ride or die, he is my ride or die.
Amen.
Because we have been at our very, very lowest.
I've been there.
Yes, when we trying to decide, okay, are the kids going to eat? We going to eat? We going to split this? What we going to do?
You heard them stomach growls?
Exactly.
I heard them.
Babe, I ain't hungry. You
But they gotta
hungry.
eat first. Look, let's split a pack of udon noodle.
Look, and then you get happy when you're at the picky child. Like, you know what? I know they know.
That exactly.
I don't even care today.
Yeah, that's good, man. So this sounds like a powerful book.
I got another question. So, what type of advice is in the book for a single man looking to become married? What type of stuff is that?
Single man, single woman, you have to be whole in you first. You do not come into a marriage and a relationship half. That whole 50-50 or he's my better half, she's my better half. No, you need to be whole before you become anybody's husband, before you're in anybody's relationship. You need to be successfully single. That way, when you come into this marriage, you're not putting undue expectations on somebody to fill a void that they were never intended to fill. You have to be whole in yourself.
Amen.
And that kind of goes to something I heard as well. I was listening to Jada Pinkett Smith and Will, and he said something that hit home for me, something that I struggle with. And he said, there was a point in their marriage where she wasn't happy, and he thought it was his responsibility to make her happy.
Right.
And that's something that I struggle with. I always look to see the void, somebody coming in to make me happy. No, I have to be
You have to be happy.
I have
within
to be
yourself.
happy within
Yeah,
myself.
you need your
And it's
own
not-
happiness.
and it's
right.
not somebody else's
You know?
responsibility.
It's not.
Right,
And a
right.
lot of people have to get that misconception of relationships and marriages. Somebody's not coming into your life to make you happy. They're just coming to add to the value. They're just bringing more value to the value that you already have as an individual.
It's funny you said that. The other day, my wife asked me, she wanted to do something, and the first thing I said to her, I said, you have to do that for yourself. Is that gonna make you happy? It's got to be her happiness.
Right.
So I understand exactly. That's dope. That's good. What's up? Any
I
more
got
questions?
a question. It kind of goes a little to the. So with this book, it sounds so.
Yeah, I got a question. Come on.
So this book is so powerful. What would you say to marriage counselors? Because nobody ever has all the answers, and a lot of people, are
Hold up. What you say? What would you
marriage
say to-
counselors.
Marriage
Like,
counselors?
is this, so I would just reading the book and just hearing about it. If I was someone that experienced going to marriage counseling, this would be something I would like for them to bring into the session. You know what I mean? Techniques. Read the book for yourself and bring in techniques because, like I said, I was married before. I know the struggles. This is an everyday thing. And to know that this book is out there and to know that going to a marriage counselor, for people who may not have the pleasure of knowing about this book, you know what I mean? To have it go to marriage counselors like, hey,
This is
Something-
this is your ministry, right?
This is actually it's going to be it's the beginning of
So
our
basically,
ministry.
what you're asking, this is going to be like counseling, right?
It
Through
is
this
going
book.
to be what we are.
I felt that already.
Right.
When I read the back of it, I seen that it said, fight their marriage ministry. I'm like, this is a ministry. This is gonna be off ministry. Y'all gonna have
Look, I
counseling
received that.
classes.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna have
received that.
counseling classes
I
off
received
of
that.
this book.
We
And
received that,
and
right?
I see it already. It's gonna be great. Y'all,
We
Definitely.
were when we initially
it.
wrote the book. I don't think that we realized how big it was really going to be and how God was going to use it, and we still don't know because He is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above anything we could ask or think. So, but when we wrote it, our heart was really for couples to be able to single, whether you're married, whether you're engaged, to be able to really go through it and reflect on each section. So we have questions in there that really dig deep.
Okay.
And it makes you really like it's not cute little questions, right? It's like real self-inspecting,
Like, did she
examining
just ask me
yourself.
that
Yeah,
type of question?
like you're gonna be mad at us a little bit. I think you're gonna be mad at us, but it's the only way to grow.
Yeah.
The only way to grow is to face what's in here and not point the finger. So, so I would say, for marriage counselors and and to be careful of who you're going to for counsel.
Yes.
So to be careful because, there's wisdom in the multitude of counsel, but you can't just go to anybody, right? You have to be careful who you go to. But this would absolutely be an addition to the counseling. And we are looking to prayerfully do workshops from it.
So, so y'all, with that, y'all gonna come up with like vision boards and different things based on this book? Like, is there gonna be like lessons from here, like class type lessons off of this book? And not only that, do y'all see a 2 coming on the way?
They're laughing, so that must mean
y'all have
it's
a
been
2.
it's
Y'all
been
probably
talked
have
about.
a 3 too. I just see so much more just filling this book.
Thank
what are y'all
you.
working on?
Wow.
I really.
Do you want to? Go ahead. All right. Well, when we started writing this book, God gave me a vision, not just of a second part to the marriage piece, but actually also the singlehood, and then even further to fatherhood. So, and
Holla at me when you
winning.
do the
Right.
I'm writing a book now.
Right.
Fatherless generation.
Right.
Maybe we could co-write on fatherhood because I was a fatherless. I'm a father to a fatherless generation. And I want to write it on book 2 and that too. But
And
you know what? I see some other stuff with y'all. Y'all, somebody's gonna pick up one of y'all things towards film. Y'all have a lot in y'all ministry that y'all don't even see. It's amazing.
And this is such a powerful.
Y'all have a powerful movement.
Yeah, like this right here. It's just like
Yeah, y'all have a powerful message.
super powerful
very
message. Like,
and y'all are very humble.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I see it. Y'all don't even want to take half of the credit.
No,
Because
Y'all tear up
It
a
is
lot.
his.
we
Y'all
will.
we got this book today, and we were like, oh,
Yeah, y'all cry a lot. I see it. It's in your face.
Yeah.
You've been crying today.
But you know why? Because I remember sitting in my car crying about my marriage and God saying, if you would just allow me to walk you through it, your marriage will be a ministry to somebody. It will minister to somebody.
It is going to.
So when this book has manifested, it's like, God, you're faithful. You're so faithful. You told me this. Imagine if I gave up because I was in my feelings. Imagine if I would have just said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore because I don't blah, blah, blah. He's not this, he's not that. Who is on the other side of me wanting to give up? Somebody else needed me to go through it so that I can go back and tell them how you get over it.
That's right.
Be a midwife.
So, it is.
That's a
And
good thing.
anytime-
Get out your feelings.
anytime God gives you a ministry, it's like God with a sense of humor. That's where my humility comes
It
from.
is.
So I'm like, oh, you funny, God.
yeah, like whatever you think you about to give up
Yeah,
on
we
or
talk
walk
all the
away
time.
from,
Yeah.
so
We talk about
that's
that all
what
the
you
time.
thought.
Laughing
Right.
at you.
Right.
So, but it was definitely a great show. It's crazy that a half hour just blew by.
Our half hour's done.
But we gonna keep talking. We want to know about the plug. We want to know some plugs where people. What? First of all, when's your book release again?
It is the 16th, Saturday 16th on from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We are going to be at the Riverwinds Community Center in West Deptford, New Jersey. And we're going to be doing the book release, book signing. We're going to have books on site for people to purchase. But it's going to be on Amazon as well this Tuesday. It'll be on Amazon for all the out-of-staters.
Congratulations.
Yes, guys, and if you have Prime like I do, I went on Amazon last night. They're trying to deliver it to me by Monday, so definitely get on Amazon.
Yeah, she already told us she was on it already. So that was earlier today. And she was like, they ain't got a physical copy.
She was like, I was going to surprise them and get them, but it wasn't going to get here on time.
Yeah, Amazon talking about, so we'll get it to you by Monday.
And that's support. We definitely have to support.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And are y'all planning for a second one already?
We are.
We are.
We are planning for a second one.
So you have 2 releases coming, right? Like two dates?
For a second release?
Two date? No, I mean 2 dates for your venue. Is it only going to be at Riverwinds?
It's only on the 16th at the Riverwinds right now.
For right now.
For right now.
Okay,
We're
so
working
people
on
better
some
make
other
sure y'all
stuff,
press out
but
on the
yes.
16th.
Yes,
Press
have
out
the
and get
line
this
going
book,
around the corner,
'cause
out
as of
the
right
store,
now, there's not
everything.
another date, so you need all the support on the 16th. I want to stress that to everybody that's listening. The 16th
Yes.
will be the voice of reason to be out there supporting, getting this book, and you need to come get this book as well. I thank y'all for coming out. I learned a lot.
Yes, you
Thank
did.
you
This
for
was
having
awesome.
us.
And
for having us.
Huh? Oh yeah, your social medias. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's right. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Right now, Facebook, you could just hit up Ready Writer Services LLC, because that's my company, my editing, writing, and translating
You
company.
said ready.
Ready Writer.
Ready writer.
Ready Writer,
Ready
like writing.
writer. Like writer.
Services LLC.
All right.
So we're on Facebook, and we will have, though, also a group page for Winning in Your Mindset. So the ministry is Winning in Your Mindset, and all the winning books will be under Winning in Your Mindset.
And the email
Awesome.
address.
And the email, that's right. And all your questions, anything you want to know about the book or about marriage, or if you want prayer, it is winninginyourmindset@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Right. Well, that was a great show, lady. I gotta give y'all on a salute. Like, yo, it was a great show. Has everybody got their questions answered?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
that
it's so refreshing, because at service today, a lot that was being said today, before the show, during the show, just in our event today, one thing that you said as far as what we do as wives, just because unconditional. My pastor today he was talking about conditional promises and unconditional promises, and God always gives us, all His promises are unconditional. Where we start doing conditional.
Yeah.
No, He does give us some conditional promises, like I'll hold up my end of the bargain as long as you hold up your end. But we got to get out of that conditional promises that we do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Where I'm only, like you said, I'm only gonna do this if you gonna do that.
Right.
Yes.
No, you got to stay within yourself. Stay true to who you are, regardless of what. Because that's the only way you can get blessed, is if you stay true to what you are and you don't conform to the world itself.
That's right.
So I
That's
definitely,
right.
I so appreciate you ladies today.
We appreciate
I'm
you.
gonna-
Yeah,
I'm gonna
definitely.
cry in the car. I'm gonna go cry in the car.
Okay, baby. So the voice of reason, for a reason, we out. I'm your host, Pastor P.
Mike J.
Lily Dane.
And tune in to us next week, same time, 7 p.m. We'll see y'all then. Love
And guys,
y'all.
and don't forget to download the app GSNJ Radio. You can see us on Mixcloud, and we will subscribe on Google Play Music, and we will be on iTunes and Spotify before you know it.
We love y'all, man.
Love y'all.
Tune in. Peace. Oh, man. Thanks. Great show.